Hey team, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm going to wait till some of our audience populates, but while we do and we're still waiting, I'm just going to have a little bit of conversation with you about what this live is all about today. As you see from the title, it says, I spent the day with NEMT Millionaires, and here is the real game plan for success. Now, I know many of you all have been in my community. You've been researching non-emergency medical transportation, and it all looks great on the surface. But let me tell you, I had the opportunity to sit in a room full of individuals who have not only tried to start their NEMT business, but they have clearly been very successful. And they had a lot of information that I was able to take from that meeting, that workshop, that open house that the Transportation Alliance put on to give me a better understanding of what you all are facing, and from their perspective, from the eagle eye standpoint of what they see when they're looking at new transportation providers. So I'm going to start out with prayer as usual, and then I'm going to go into some of these talking points, and we can build on it a little bit later as you all come on in. Amen. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity that we have to meet together again, to put aside all of the noise from our everyday lives and to concentrate on the purpose that you have given us to create transportation services and services for those who are in need, and to help them to have the services that they need in their lives. Father, we just ask you that you will allow us to have open hearts, to be teachable, be the meek individuals, so that we can see where we may be erring, so that we can create a course correction and do things according to your will and your standards. We just thank you. We continue to praise you and give you all the glory in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. Amen. All right, y'all. So let's get started. So the first thing, let me tell you all how this happened. Story time. So about 2 weeks ago, I was on LinkedIn, and I suggest that any of you all who are small transportation providers get on LinkedIn to really understand who the players are in the industry. But I started in on LinkedIn, and I saw a post, and I didn't even know this individual, Jake. I didn't know Jake, but he had reposted. He's with Braun Ability, and he had posted a workshop, open house. Let me get that correct. An open house that the Transportation Alliance was putting on along with Braun Mobility, that is sponsored by Mobility Works and Model One. All right. And it was going to be held in Indianapolis. And of course, me seeing that, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's my hometown. I would love to come. And I thought, okay, well, I would love to come. And I just put a comment, casually put a comment. And then the next thing I knew, I was getting a DM from Jake, and he was like, hey, we'd love to have you. Why don't you register? And I went in, I was like, okay, great, I'll register. But I let him know, hey, I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to financially make it. That was a big concern. I had invoices that hadn't come through. I was like, but I'll pray about it. If it's meant for me, it's meant for me, and I'll be there, right? So I did. I prayed about it, and as it turned out, I registered, but my money still wasn't quite right. I was like, I've got it, but I don't know if I need to spend it, right? So I sent back a reply just the day before the event was to take place, to say that, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. And when I did that, Jake reached out to me. He called me personally, and we had a conversation. He was like, hey, what do we need to do to get you there? And I was like, hey, this is what I can do. And he said, this is what he could do. And, it all fit. And I was, thank you, Yeshua. You made it happen. I got in my car, or I got in a car. I rented a car, and I drove 12 hours, which 12 hours to Indianapolis. And it was a journey, y'all. I'm telling you, it was a journey. I mean, it was bad. everything that I had thought about Indianapolis had changed, and the scenery, the routes, and I had not really driven myself in years. My husband usually does all the driving, and it just ended up, it was a horrible, horrible drive for me. And by the time I got out, I got to the hotel, and I didn't know if it was the front desk, and I was in a panic. Like, literally, I was having an anxiety attack. Like, I was really, my nervous system was on overdrive. And I'm sitting there, and then there's this guy, and I'm like, is this the front entrance? And he turns around, and he was like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, I know you. And he's like, okay, weird lady. And I'm like, I know you. You're the NEMT guy. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm having a panic attack. I just like, I've been on the road and I'm scared. And he was like, all right, I'm a paramedic. And I was like, no, I didn't. I was like, thank you, Yeshua. And he was like, deep breathe. He was like, deep breaths in and out. And that was my first step. I was like, thank you, Father. The first step that I had here is I think is Peter the president. I don't know. I don't know. I should have did the research on that. But I know that he's heavily involved in NIMTAC, and he's sitting there calming me down. And so from there, I got checked in and was able to go to our event. And the first day, I mean, just starting, it was just amazing being surrounded by so many individuals who are leaders in this industry, not just those who have a couple of vans, who are starting out, who've been in business for a couple of years, but those who are established leaders in the business. And I'm talking about $1 million businesses, not like 1 million or 2 million. I'm talking about like $1 million businesses, like 33, 50, 100 million, those type of businesses. And to see how humble each one of them were, Peter handed me my behind about some items, and I had to sit there and take it. But I listened and I learned, and from that I'm going to grow. And I learned so many things from each one of them. And I'm here to share that with you on what the eagle's eye, those that are on heights, that are in this industry and have been in this industry, what their challenges towards you all as new providers are, and what they want you to learn. And we're going to go into that further, and I'm hoping to have some conversations with them and bring them on the podcast so that you all can get their words directly. But I had, unfortunately, some individuals didn't want to come on camera, and I can't blame them, but they did give me enough insight that I can bring it to you, right? So the first thing that I was told with new providers that experienced leaders would like to see you all do is more market research with respect for the industry. So, Coach, what do you mean? Well, we've been doing market research. We find out who our customer is. And if you're one of my students, then we're looking at who our avatar is, and we're really zoning in on that market. But what we're not doing is paying attention to who the actual players are in that market. We know that there are competitors, and that's what we say is our competitors. And we're not really trying to get a piece of their pie because we know that we're not that big. So we aim for what we know we can get our hands on. But that's really doing us a harm, because not knowing who your players truly are in your industry and not knowing who they are, like having know who they are is damaging you. It's damaging you because a lot of these individuals started out, and this is, I want to thank Peter for this information. A lot of these individuals started out 30, 40, 50 years ago as taxi drivers and taxi services who saw a need with transportation, with wheelchair accessible vehicles, and they transformed their business model from the taxi model to the transportation, non-emergency medical transportation model. So these are individuals who have been in transportation for years. I mean, years, like family legacies. And so we're coming into their market and we're saying, hey, give me a piece of your pie. And we're undercutting their prices, which is causing serious problems with the industry in all. And I talked to one provider who said, listen, it's okay to be new and it's okay to come in with a lower rate. But if I'm charging 150 and then you start charging 60, that doesn't even make sense. Charge 140, 145, undercut the price $5, maybe 10, but there's no reason to undercut the price so significantly. And I had to agree. I had to say, you're right, because what happens is that you end up with what you pay for. So if you're paying for low quality providers, okay, let me see. I was just making sure there's no comments. So if you guys are here, go ahead and make sure you like, share, subscribe, and also leave a comment and just let me know what state you're in so that I know who I'm talking to. Maybe I can be a little bit more specific. So anyway, we're talking about price undercutting. When you're going into a market, research what they're doing, like really know who your competitors are and those people that have been in the game for 30, 40, 50 years. What is their model? So we want to have respect. We want to have a respect and a regard for those individuals who have been here because they have paved the way. Yes, to some extent, they are gatekeepers. And I'll tell you why. When you've built a business for 30, 40, 50 years, and then you got somebody coming in here with a van and doing $40 rides, dropping people, getting into accidents, and then you cause the insurance rates to increase because you don't know what you're doing, and the Transportation Alliance has to jump in and do more legislation and all that. You're causing the industry to become destabilized. So we need to have a better understanding of who our markets are and who the big players are so that we don't cause destabilization in your area. Because eventually you want to be a player that's been there for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. And you wouldn't want little old me coming in here and messing up your plate, right? So we can share. And I think that was the biggest thing on that, is that they're more than willing to share with smaller providers. They want to subcontract with you. They want to help you to learn the transportation industry. They want to help you to get innovative technology and really to understand the scope of the industry. But they also want individuals who are willing to learn and to listen and to step back where it's time to step back. All right, so that's point number one. And I already talked about pricing with integrity, but I'll definitely say it again. Number two, pricing with integrity. It seems easy to say, and listen, I'm guilty too, because I know when I first started, I was like, hey, just undercut them to get in. I'm guilty. And like I said, Peter kind of had a conversation with me about some things, and I had to listen, and I had to say, okay, you're right. I got you. But you all stop undercutting to the point that you're harming not just your business, you're harming everyone. You're harming the client because the customer is going to get used to having these cheap rides. They're going to complain about the quality of your work because you can't give a $40 ride and we think that you're actually a good service. So price yourself competitively. Again, take it down to $5, $10 max, $10 max. And that should only be for a short period of time. And then raise your rate back to the standard rate if you're using the transportation model. Again, I don't use the transportation model. I use a healthcare model. But for those of you all who are gun-ho on using a transportation model, you need to consider your price to be pricing with integrity. Don't just lowball your numbers to get people in the seat because you really are affecting the industry. All right. And so then for the final thing, is showing up for the industry. Wait a minute, let me see. It says, show up for the industry you want to win in. So no more is it acceptable, team, for you all to just be so zeroed in and focused in on, I got to get this business up. I got to get with a broker. I got to get, I got to get with Verida or NTM or Motive Care. And you're not looking at the whole picture. Stop trying to create yourself a job and create yourself a business within an industry. Okay. Have respect for the industry that you're in. I'm telling you, that whole trip to Braun Ability and seeing the manufacturing, to learn the story behind is it Ralph Braun, and how this industry transpired. I've been a nurse for 20 years, and I cannot tell you how much regard and respect and newfound love and adoration I have for the transportation industry just by that experience alone. Being able to be surrounded by other like-minded individuals and being invited to the table to see what they're facing and hear real things about the challenges in technology, the challenges in and just the using Q strengths and what Q strength is up to and how they're, it just the different wheelchair types and how, regulations are, and seeing the vehicles completely gutted and then put back together through Braun Ability. I mean, it was just an amazing thing to see the teamwork and like to see that these Braun Ability vehicles, they're genuinely made with love. Like they really are. It's like you go to their factory and it's not like people just being fake and like, hey, how you doing? Like they're genuinely happy working, and they work and they do it. So it gave me a whole new way of thinking by attending industry events. So if you're not showing up at industry events or networking events, then you're doing yourself and your business an injustice. I had a conversation with Peter. I was like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna come to NEMT, and he was like, why wouldn't you go? Go. So I'm gonna be there. I'm see how my pennies and my coins, I shouldn't say pennies because we're gonna get some quarters. I'm gonna see how my coins line up, and I'm gonna go, because those networking opportunities, it's not just to hear yourself speak. It is to listen. It is to listen and grow. I heard it was so good, just like sitting in front of Cliff with Ride and Safe, and I had introduced myself to him the day before, and he did a short little reel with me. You guys look that up. And then I'm sitting in front of him, and I'm just going through my social media, because I got to make sure I what is it called? I post, right? And I hear him say, yeah, I'm sorry I'm running a little bit behind. I was on the phone with Tan Rides. And I'm like, Tan Rides? Wait a minute, Tan Rides? Toby and Andy, Tan Rides? I'm like, those are mine. I was like, you're working with them? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you know them? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I coached them. And then he was like, oh, well, can I talk to you? And I was like, sure. And, we came up and we had a conversation, and then we found out that we had another one of my clients that was a mutual client of his. And so I wouldn't have gotten that had I not driven 12 hours, and I wouldn't have made the sacrifice to network with other individuals. And opportunities would not have come up if I would not have put myself out there. Even as the small fish in a big pond, who would have guessed that I would have been able to have such an amazing opportunity? And because of that, I'm able to bring you all more information and better information to really tell you that we need more support. I mean, yes, I'm a coach, and I'm grateful that I'm a good coach. I mean, according to you all and those who have been underneath me who tell me that I'm a good coach, and I'm very grateful for that. But y'all, we need more support. You need to network. You need to network and really understand who's in your industry. Because, yes, there are gatekeepers. There are. But they're gatekeeping for a valid reason because y'all don't know what you're doing. I mean, that's really what it is. Y'all don't know what you're doing. And you're messing up their bread and butter. And y'all would be mad if somebody came in their house, in your house, with dirty shoes on, tramping through the mud and dirtying up your floors and things. You would be upset too. And that's how they feel. And I can relate. I can see that. I can see where, as providers, you all come in and you want to make an impact and you want to give to your community, but because you don't understand the industry, you make bad decisions that affect the industry. Every time you pick up late, every time you have an incident with the driver, or your vehicle has an accident, that affects the entire industry. So, and that's stuff that people like the Transportation Alliance, Dan Reed, they have to go to Congress, and they have to go to their congressmen and our legislators and talk to them about it and get rules, because they're out here fighting for us and fighting for you as transportation providers to make sure that you the have the lowest rates possible for insurance, that everything stays compliant and everything stays legal. And again, I just have such a bigger respect for the industry as a whole by understanding how the industry and how the background works. So if you all have any questions, I didn't want to come on and talk about too much, but I did want to just let you all know, hey, quit playing. Quit playing. Come correct. Don't listen to these influencers who are selling you a dream. Don't listen to these individuals giving you these cheap courses. I mean, hey, I get it. I get it. As content creators, as influencers, as coaches and mentors, of course, you want to get reimbursed. You want to get paid for your time. But if your coach and your counselor or your mentor is not kicking out proven results and doesn't understand the industry as a whole, then you need to redefine who you're allowing to coach you. Because again, I pride myself as a great coach based on what you all have told me, but my eyes were open to so many things just by having simple conversations with individuals. And I was able to say, I really need to adjust this in my business, in the way that I teach and the way that I coach. I need to be, enforce these things more, and it's an eye opener. So I want you all to really get out there, get to NEMTAC. If you're worried about buying a van and all that stuff, stop worrying about buying a vehicle and learn how to set up your business correctly. Learn about the industry, get over there to NEMTAC, and they've been doing this for a while and they know the industry and they can teach you a lot. I mean, I learned more in the few minutes that Peter Hicks was able to talk to me about the transportation industry than I've learned in 3 years. So there's a lot to learn from people that are here in the industry. And when you guys, let me tell y'all another story. I'm hope I don't get in trouble, but this was a story that really that it sounds like a lot of y'all, not, hopefully not my community on this YouTube, Facebook, and all that stuff, because I hope I've taught you better. But I had one of the guys from Model One was telling me how he had a woman, an owner, new transportation provider, come in to pull in and was like, I want a van. I need a van for a wheelchair van. He's like, okay, well, what are you going to do with it? And she said, well, I'm going to start a non-emergency medical transportation business. And he's like, okay, well, what have you done? What have you done to get started? And she felt like he was quizzing her or trying to persuade her not to get the vehicle. But in reality, I mean, he's a salesman, so he was actually trying to protect her. He was like, hey, you need to have XYZ, you need to get your compliance and your legislation, everything ready. And she was like, your licenses. And she was like, you don't want to sell me a vehicle, I'll just go somewhere else. But what you all don't understand is that this person knows this person and they all talk. It's like communication, you know, no one's trying to keep you necessarily from getting a van, but sometimes they see it all the time. I mean, just think about it. How many individuals come to them saying that they want to get into the transportation industry and they don't have any licenses, they don't have any certifications, they don't even understand marketing, you don't have a business plan, you don't have financial projections, you just go to get a van and then they got to insure that vehicle for you. And then you call them 60 days down the line and say, hey, I can't afford these payments, I can't afford this insurance, and my business is not running because the brokers they can't take me. And then you're looking at them like, take this vehicle back, and they're like, that's yours now, that's yours. So I say that to say, don't be so, what is it called? Not, have a little tougher skin, and to not think that everyone is trying to somehow dissuade you. Is that a word? I'm gonna use it anyway if it's not. But dissuade you from making a decision for your business. A lot of times your sales reps, with Mobility Works, Model One, Brown Ability, they're just trying to save you time, energy, and money. Because if you make a mistake, you're going to be the one ultimately paying for it. You're ultimately going to be the one that has to pay for it. So understand who your players are and have respect for them. Again, they are gatekeepers. They are. I have a client right now in Philly, and I don't want to give her whole story away, but we're literally fighting. She's getting ready to have to go and fight for her ability to even open, and we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I know we're going to be fine, but again, I had a conversation with Peter about it. He was like, hey, yeah, I know those families in that area, and if you're saying that you can cover 3, 4, 5 counties and you've got one vehicle, yeah, they're going to swarm in on you and they're going to say, how is this possible? Prove it. And even as a coach, I can't argue with that. He's exactly right. So getting in there to understand who your players are in NEMT, who your players are in the vehicle markets, who your players are as far as providers, that's just a solid. That's just a solid. It's a solid win for you. Don't take shortcuts. Don't do these. I can't say it enough. I mean, I'm not trying to dissuade you from doing people's courses or doing their programs. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that if you don't have someone who understands this industry, not just their channel, not just, a couple of years, and really setting up your business correctly so that you can know who these players are, you're doing yourself an injustice. You really are. So I hope with that you all get to see this video and leave me some comments. Make sure that you all go over to my community, and we're about to get started. I'm getting ready to start with free group coaching, and we're about to get started with the free group coaching. So I'm going to shut it down once I get 50 members into the community where that's free group coaching, like for real free group coaching, and you'll be able to come to it. Yeah, hey, I see these reactions like, woo, like, whoa. All right, thanks for the info. You're welcome, Latoya. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So I'm getting ready to do free group coaching, free. This is going to be my first round of it. So if you are not in my community, you do not get the opportunity to take advantage of it. So we're getting ready to separate it into groups, and let me explain how that's going to work. So in the group coaching community, there's going to be two groups. There are going to be the groups that are making, these are your requirements. Hey, Coach. Hey. B, look, you got that black and mild. Look, you know I used to be a smoker, so I can't look at that too long. But we had, we're going to have two divided groups. Our first group is going to be for individuals who are making $75,000 to $100,000 a year. And I'm going to tell you the rationale in a minute. $75,000 to $100,000 a year, who have a credit score of 680 or better and have had no late payments within the last 12 months. Okay. That's our first group for our group coaching. So if you're in the community, I'm going to separate you for group one. And that group, the reason why I have them separated is because in that group, it should only, if you have everything, the requirements for SBA lending, SBA funding, I can help to get you to the resources that you need to get you started. Okay. So we're going to have that first group. Now, the second group is going to be for those that may need a little bit more time and a little bit more work. Okay. So we're still going to go through the process. We're still going to go through all the process of getting your business started. However, I know that it may take you a little bit more time because you have those things that you have to clean up. And don't let anybody fool you. Girl, you finally back. Is that like you back, like you really back? Hold on. You like really back? We really back? look, Louise is one of my students from DC, and she had to get some life things together. So that's okay. That's okay. And she comes to prayer line. She's active in our ministry, and so that's my sisters. So, but she's taking a sabbatical. So hopefully she back. But I'm just excited that you all are all here. If you guys got questions, I'm here for the questions right now. But let me go ahead and. She said, yes, go ahead, girl. Let's get this thing going. Look, let's get it rocking and rolling. I'm excited. Look, I saw, side note, I have two new clients that I signed up back in April. And, usually I tell everybody it's going to take about a year to get things going because, it is what it is. Life happens. And I tell you, I looked up and I looked up, I was like, wait a minute. We just started in April. Y'all almost at the midpoint. I'm like, whoa, we done flew through this. And it's just meeting 2 to 3 times a week, that we get things done. And I'm just like, wow. I was like actually impressed that we're moving so quickly through it. So Louise, we're gonna get you finished and get you ready and get you on that road. So anyway, so the first group is those who are ready, so I can get you guys put in with the right places so that we can get you up and moving. The second group is for those of you all who are not making the income, maybe 50 to 75,000 a year. What I recommend, team, is that if you're making in the $50 to $75,000 a year, it's not quite enough to do what it is that you need to do in order to really be successful in this business. I heard so many times at that open house, $50,000, that's nothing. How they gonna get started with $50,000? It took me $250,000, and I'm getting y'all in here with $50,000, and it is a challenge. But so the reason that I say that is that, find a partner. Partnerships are good. We just have to have operating agreements and partnership agreements in line. One of the biggest mistakes that our community makes is trying to always do things on our own. We don't want anybody to have more than we have, or we want it to look like we did it all, and all that nonsense. I was just talking to friend of mine, and she wants to open up a CNA school. And I was like, listen, if you want to partner up, let me know. I'm here. And so she's gonna let me know. But don't be afraid to reach out to someone who is like-minded. Don't just, not just anybody, but anybody that's like-minded, and get your partnership going. So if you're making less than $75,000 a year, we need to do something to get that income stream up. So it's going to take a little while, because we need to have at least $10,000 to $20,000 in the savings to qualify for that SBA loan. So, and you need to have at least a 680 and no lates. So we're going to have 2 groups, and it's going to be free group coaching if you are in the community. Some of you all who have done your business plans with me, it's going to be the same information, but we're going to be working through it, and I'm going to take you step by step the same way that I take my clients through, and you will have access to it. That's right. You're right. We fall behind with that way of thinking. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. We ain't got no grocery stores. We ain't got no daycares. We sending our kids to everybody else but us. And, and that it's, and it's, I'm not anti other communities. I'm just saying that as someone who has returned from the other side, I'm telling you all that we got a lot of work to do. And if we don't work with each other, who else is going to work with us? I mean, come on, we got to work with each other first. All right. So with that being said, I want you all to go ahead and go over to that community. Go ahead and we're going to have those group coaching. I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to show up on the days that we are supposed to be there. But if you do not hit that mark at 50, when I have 50 players in that community, I'm telling you, I'm dividing everybody up. You're in group 1 or you're group 2, and I'm only taking 50, and it's all going to be free. And the only thing I'm asking for in return is your testimonial on what we did and how we got there and your success. That's it. That's it. I'm not asking a lot. So, all right, with that being said, we got any questions? I'm gonna hang out for a few minutes and just recap. I'll recap for those of you all who got in a little bit late. What do millionaires in the NEMT industry say that they want from you all as new providers? Number 1, they want you to do market research with respect for the industry to know who your players are. We call them gatekeepers. I call them gatekeepers, but they're gatekeeping for a reason. You're coming in, taking a slice of their pie, and even though they weren't going to eat that pie, you up there wasting it. It's like you're just wasting at it. You're picking at it. You're not really eating it. You just messing the whole thing up. And so they're getting mad. I wouldn't say they're mad. They're just looking at it like, you all are not you all in my community. I'm saying that broadly. But those providers who are not taking their time, they're not getting educated on this. They're just going out here and getting a van and some insurance and say, hey, what's next? You're messing up the industry. You're messing it up for people who have been there 30 years. That's right. I came in like that. I got you. I'm going to do a recap. So though you're messing up the industry for them. And that's not fair. You don't want somebody to come into your house with dirty shoes and then sit their feet up and say, feed me. That ain't right. And that's the same thing how they feel, is that if you're going to come into the industry, at least know who you're competing against. Hey, Nip Nelly, come on. Either get into the community or come get me one-to-one. I got you. All right, come on in. So that's the first thing, is to really understand who your players are. Again, their history. Most of these individuals have been in the taxi transportation industry for 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, these are family legacies. They've got huge operations nationwide, nationally, and they have nothing against smaller providers, but stop undercutting them. That's the second thing we talked about, is pricing with integrity. They want you. It says, yeah, about time I caught up with you. Yeah, come on now. That's right. So They want you to be in the industry because they can't get everybody. And matter of fact, a lot of them have opportunities like subcontracting out opportunities. I was talking with Silver Ride and Safe Rides in Texas and in San Diego. And these are multi-million-dollar providers who subcontract with you if you are a provider with integrity. You know, they look for certain type of level of providers to bring on. So if you're just in it for a dollar, they don't want to work with you. Like, I heard that from the horse's mouth. They don't want to work with individuals who are just out here for a dollar. If you're out here creating a business, a sustainable business, and you want to understand the industry and to scale your business for proper growth, they want to work with you. They do, but it has to be done correctly. All right. And so the pricing with integrity, stop going in there. If you saw somebody with $150, don't price your stuff for $130. Don't price it for $20. Don't be doing $40 trips. Price your trips with integrity. It is okay to come in and lowball a little bit, but we're talking about like $5, $10, and only keep it there for a little while. Your grand opening, if you're launching and you want to get customers in, then yeah, we want to market ourselves as, hey, we're lower than our competitors. But you don't have to be $20 lower in order to be lower than your competitors. You hear me? All right. So, and then the third point that we brought up, make sure y'all like this, make sure we get some likes in here and share this with a friend. And then the third thing that we talked about is making sure that you show up for the industry you want to win in. Again, I was a small fish in a big pond, and I sat at the table of the elite. And I know they were probably like, oh my goodness, this crazy girl. All I kept saying is, oh my gosh, I feel like I was like, I'm in here with a whole bunch of millionaires. Oh my goodness, who am I? How do I deserve this? It's like you're sitting there with literally people that look just like you and I, and who are down to earth like you and I, but they're making 30 million, 50 million, $100 million a year. And they're there to learn, and you're not. So I have to say, we got to get into the learning mode, not just receiving mode, where we're always taking, and what can we do to build up our pockets? You got to give to the industry that you're wanting to win in. So people see who you are, they get to know you. Like I said, Peter Hicks with NEMT, he handed me the business. He did, in his own little special way. I knew he was correcting me, and I had to eat it. I had to eat it. And I said, okay, now that I know better, I'll do better. And sometimes that's what it takes. You have to go to these events and say, okay, I don't know it all. There's a better way of doing it. And there's individuals who have been in the industry longer than me who know how to do it because they're there. And so I need to fall back and kind of listen to what they have to say and follow their lead. And by doing that, you build relationships, because people then know that you're teachable, that you're not just in the industry trying to take. I'm not just in here trying to take your dollars, but I really want to have an understanding of what type of provider I need to be giving to our community to make sure that you are reliable and safe transportation providers. So don't just take from this industry. Come in humble, like humble, because they like humble. They do. And I mean, I like humble. You like humble. We all like humble. Come into it understanding that, yes, this is $1 million industry, and it is $1 million bag. I can't wait to talk to Noah and see what he's up to, so that we can put these things together. But yes, it is $1 million industry. It was like, sometimes you got to it and keep going. That's it. You got to keep going. You got to do it and get in there. And that's what I want you all to understand, is that this industry was there before you all, and we saw the collapse in trucking, and NEMT might be facing that same collapse, which is a good thing. for you all in some of these states like Colorado that has a moratorium. I think Latoya's there. Wait a minute, no, Latoya, Hosey. Look, I'm trying to think of the names. It's Florida, Florida. I like get my Latoya and Lenitra mixed up. But some of these states like Texas, Florida, where there is a surge of providers, and there's still need. There's still need, even with that surge of providers, but they're set up wrong. They're set up on a broker model. They don't have individual contracts and they don't have self-pay clients. So when the brokers yank the rug out, like they've done in South Carolina, in Georgia, and other states, I mean, states nationwide, Virginia, you're not getting in with the broker unless you have 3 vehicles. Unless you know these things and you just rush in there and get a van, you're going bankrupt before you even start. And that's literally what they're trying to teach you at these industry events. When they're like, come to NEMTAC, come to NEMTAC, come to the NEMTAC, come to NEMTAC Association, go to the Transportation Alliance events. When they're trying to get you out there, when you're going to shop for your van and you're sitting there telling your salesman, oh, that's too expensive. I can't afford 75,000. I can't afford 90,000. I can't afford 60,000. But you want to enter into a $1 million business. Stop playing. The investment is not going to be $10,000 for a Dodge Caravan. It's not there anymore. You have to be innovative. You have to have the technology in your vehicle. Because once you get up, I got all the little secrets and tips, Once you get in, what's his name? Mark Crawford with Swan Insurance. He was saying he doesn't even work with providers that have less than 3 vehicles. He said, I'm in South Carolina. Good. Yay. Okay, there we go. See, I'm trying to tell you. They're not working with you. Brokers are not working with you. And I got 2. Let me just tell you, Bean. I got 2 calls today from individuals looking for transportation. So it's here. It's here. Come on. Let's get you going because I need you. So there are, we just have to get in there and humble ourselves and learn from the individuals who have been in the industry and walk the paved road. We don't have to go out here and reinvent the wheel. Come to me, get your business set up correctly, absolutely. But you need to be at these events. You have to go. I mean, it's such a big, it's going to teach you what it is you need to know about the industry. That's where you want to be. You want to be in the transportation industry, the NEMT, non-emergency medical transportation industry, then you need to be around the people who are doing it and doing it well. I got the opportunity to talk to a provider. He said, I don't even know why I'm telling you all this. And I was like, go ahead, keep on. But he told me about how in his first year, he literally almost went bankrupt. And why did he almost go bankrupt? Because he had purchased 3 vehicles, more than 3, I think he said. He had invested almost $250,000 to start his business. And when he started his business, he had the insurance, but he didn't understand all the ramifications. And he had an individual that was on a stretcher, and that stretcher went down. The person didn't fall out. They didn't have any significant injuries, just a little scratching. But because he didn't understand how the industry worked, he ended up settling for a large amount, like over $500K. He settled for a large amount. And then, of course, at the end of his term with the insurance company, they dropped him. And so then he was faced with trying to find an insurance carrier with all these vehicles. Remember, he invested $250,000 into this business to start out. So now he's trying to find insurance to cover him. And it was a very big challenge. He almost went out of business that first year. And he said that, he talks to people now that have come to him and say, hey, I want to start an NEMT business. And he'll say, okay, or he went to an event there in San Diego and he met someone who said that they were running trips and they didn't have any insurance. That's, that after you've been sued, you got your eye out and you looking for people who are not compliant. And this individual told them that they were running off of their personal insurance. And he told them that story and was like, you do what you want to do, but I would never do this business under personal insurance, because once you know what you know, you know what you know. And that was his story. So you don't get an opportunity to hear these stories and to understand what you're actually walking into until you go to these events. You have to go. I mean, it's if you haven't gotten over there to NEMTAC, go over there, sign up. I got to register too, so let me go ahead and do that too while I'm preaching to the choir, right? Y'all get over there and and get involved. Go meet the industry leaders who are on that transportation side. I'm a great startup coach. I'm grateful that the Most High has given me the abilities and the skills to teach and preach, to those of you all who are starting out. But I'm not a transportation expert. Once you get you get into that transportation side, you need some of these big players like Ride and Safe and Silver Rides. You need some of these big players who are going to show you how to take it to the next level. So, all right. Any other questions, y'all? I've been on here for about an hour. I appreciate you all listening to me and showing up. If there's no more questions, let's see. I'm going to look. It says some can't post comments in some destinations. All right. And you all know, I am going to be in Gainesville, Florida on May 28th. If you have not gotten your ticket, please go get your ticket. It's very small. I only have 12 spaces. So if you buy one, you get one free. And I only have 12 spaces because I want to be able to deliver all the information when I'm there. Do I have real estate experience? Absolutely not. I don't. I'm sorry. I wish I did. But that's my next venture, is to get into real estate, because the market is about to go into um, a buyer's market. I can see this. I can see the trend. So I'm definitely going to be getting into that, but I'm not there yet. But you all go ahead and get in with these. Understand, again, come down to Gainesville, Florida. My tickets are on the Eventbrite. I have like a whole list of videos that have the link. Get in there, because you're going to get a complete workbook that is going to tell you exactly how to start your business. So if you're not in the Florida area, you're in Georgia or you're in South Carolina, come to the event. Email me. Let me know what state you're coming from, and I'm going to give you a whole workbook. It's like literally a do-it-yourself workbook that will take you through all the steps that you're going to need to take in order to start your business without a coach. Even if you chose not to use me as a coach, it's a 300. If you get it now, the early bird is $399. If you wait, it's going to be $699. I don't know if it's $699 now, but you still get 2 tickets. If you purchase one, get a partner. Go in there with your spouse, a friend, family member, someone at work that has a business mindset. Come in there together. Partnerships. That's where it's at. We see it all day long with the two chicks in a van. You heard the shade. You got the shade. They're a partnership, though. They rocking it out because they are a partnership. And you all need to be the same level. Partner up. Don't try to do it by yourself. If you have the resources to do it by yourself and the time to do it by yourself, great. But if not, grab yourself a partner and y'all make this investment together. It's $1 million business. Like, seriously, I say help you to grow and scale to a 6-figure business, and they laugh. Like that's nothing. Seriously, the lowest paying earner was in the 30s. Millions. 30 million. 30 million. But it took time. They've been in the business 10, 15, 20 years. Highest paying 100 million. Been in the business 15, 20 years, 30 years. So it takes time to get there, but they're leaving their kids something to eat. They're leaving a legacy. And that's what we say we're here to do. So we need to do it right. And we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can simply do it the way that they did it. And all we have to do is observe how they did it. Don't listen to these ones who are just starting out. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have great motives, but the real players, they're not doing all of that. You're going to find them at networking events. That's where the real players are, like the true ones that have NEMTAC, Transportation Alliance, the ones that have been in the background for years advocating for transportation providers, not just me or someone else that's popped up on YouTube. Yes, we all have great intentions, but I can only take you so far. I can get you through that startup process in year 2 and 3. But after year 2 and 3, you really need to be under the wing of a transportation provider who can teach you the ropes. Okay. And they're out there and they're just waiting on you to get your stuff together so that they can work with you. They don't want to work with half put together providers. They want providers who are willing to work. And so I'm happy to say that my providers are being used, So I'm very happy to see that my providers are doing well in the industry. So all right, y'all. I think that's it. Anybody else have anything else? Come on to Gainesville. Come on. We got a little time left to get everything together. I need to know if you're coming out of state. I need to know like ASAP if you're coming out of state so I can make sure I have your workbook together. Don't do me wrong and try the day before and tell me that you're coming in from California or Oklahoma or something like that, and I won't be able to get your workbook together in time. I'll have to create it and then send it to you because I hand make every single one of these, put it together. So, all right. Any questions? Okay, wait a minute. We'll say. That's a lot of growth. Wow, you got your head in the game. That's right. Look, I'm telling you, I can take correction. Correction hurts, but what's the scripture say that he only disciplines us to the proper degree. And like I said, I got pulled over by Peter. He had to set me straight on some things, and I had to say, okay, yes, sir, I got you. So, all right, team. I look forward to working with you all. If you need me, go ahead and book your discovery calls. Go ahead and get into that community. We're getting ready to start the group coaching. It's going to kick off June. The first week of June, we're going to kick off. I'm going to have group coaching 1, group coaching 2. And I don't like to talk to myself. I like interaction. I like to teach. But I know that group 1 is going to be for those of you all who are financially ready. I will have my checklist of who those are that are financially ready. 680 credit score, $75,000 to $100,000 a year or more, and no late payments in the last 12 months. That's group 1. My group 2 are for those of you all who have a little bit more challenging history, but if you have less than a 600, I can still work with you and we can still create the business foundations. But I want you to understand that you should not rush the process and try to get a van and try to go into this industry without having some cushion. We need that funding. We need the SBA funding or the bank loans. You have to have it. Do not try to do this on your personal income alone unless you got it like that. Now, I've got some clients that got it like that, so they can do that. But for those of you all who don't have it like that, don't rush into it and don't come into this business in desperation. That is literally okay. I got what if you guys have any more questions, go ahead, because I gotta say what I gotta say. Do not come into this business if you have just lost your job. You're looking to save yourself and save your family with a quick fix and think that you're going to get a van, some insurance, and get on with the broker. Do not invest in this business if you are coming in it from behind. Do not do it. Clean everything up. This is a great business. It is $1 million business, a $1 billion industry, but you cannot come into it from behind. Clean it up. Clean up your credit. Get your credit score looking right. Put back some dollars. If you need some help learning how to create an income from zero money, listen, it's not hard. I can put you on. I'm going to teach you how to use ChatGPT to write you that ebook, to get you on social media for some content so that we can get you a revenue stream. If you are business minded and entrepreneurial minded and you've made some mistakes in the past financially, I get it. I've done the same thing. I'm still working on it. I'm still a work in progress and fixing my financials. But team, if you are not there, do not try to rush it. That is the worst place to be in. And I'm not going to take you as a coach. I turn down so many clients because if I see that you're coming into it at all from a point of desperation, that means that you're going to rush me. You're going to rush me through your business plan. You're going to rush me through your certifications. You're going to rush me through your transportation. And I don't want to do that. I'm cool. I'm chill. Unless you messing with me, I'm chill. So I don't want anybody that's like so stressed out because if they spend this money, then that means that they are not going to be able to eat. I don't want that. I do not want it. You better come back to me later when you got it straightened out. So again, if you are there, I'm working with my brother right now. I'm working with my husband right now. I'm working with I got several entrepreneurs that I'm working with that maybe financially you're not ready for this business, but there's other things that you can do to earn income and generate a revenue stream simply by telling your story. Simply by telling your story. And I'm more than happy to show you that, but I can't make you come get the information. You got to come and get it. So join the community, sign up for my classes. A lot of times, the group coaching is going to be absolutely free, just with your testimonials. That's all I'm asking you for. But for those of you all who are wanting to start a business with no money and you want to learn how to create digital products and how to create a business plan that you can structure and you're ready to step out of your comfort zone, the classes are $25 and I'm waiting on you. I got the classes. I'm just waiting on you. I'm waiting for you to sign up. So keep an eye on that community. Come join the community. Get in the class. That's all I can say. That's another thing with our community is that we want quick fixes on everything. We don't want to learn. We don't want to read. We just want somebody to tell us what to do. But that's not how we were designed. We are designed to be critical thinkers. That was beat out of us to not think on our own. We got to get back to that where we're thinking able to critically think and to communicate our ideas with one another to build up our community. That's the only way. So we have to learn. We have to educate. My husband kept telling me, he's like, don't tell them it's a class. He's like, ain't nobody gonna show up for a class. And I'm like, no, we gonna know that it's a class, because I don't want anybody that's not in there ready to learn. But again, I cannot make you come get the information. You have to want it. So, all right. I hope I think I teached and preached enough on this. You all go ahead and watch this from the beginning. And I look forward to working with each and every last one of you all. All right, y'all. Be blessed.